transpired at the Senate screening of the 11 justices whose appointments were recently confirmed to the Supreme Court. Bayelsa State also appoints 2 new judges, with the governor of the state asking them to discharge their duties with humility. We also bring you highlights from the 2023 International Law Association ILA Arbitration Dinner and Awards with the theme International Arbitration, Putting Our House in Order. Plus our recap of the top trending legal stories in the news. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Shola Shuyeli. It's no longer news that the Senate has confirmed the nomination of 11 justices to the Supreme Court. The confirmation came on Thursday, December 21st, a day after the lawmakers screened the nominees.
Request for confirmation of the appointment of 11 justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
The President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, reading President Bola Tinubu's letter during plenary. The letter requests the lawmakers to screen the 11 nominees for the Supreme Court and confirm their appointments as justices of the court.
I hereby present for confirmation by the Senate the names of the underlisted 11 appointed justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
The Senate President subsequently referred the nominees to the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for screening and further legislative input. After plenary, the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters commenced the screening. At the exercise, Chairman of the committee, Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno, spoke about the inadequate funding of the judiciary.
The 10th Senate and indeed the 10th National Assembly is a responsible and responsive assembly to the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians that are clamoring for the legislature to jealously guard and protect the independence of the judiciary by ensuring that their welfare is adequately provided for, that they should insulate the judiciary from a scenario whereby they go cap in hand to the executive begging for funds to operate. And it was against this background that even in the current exercise of budget consideration, the Judiciary Committee had cause to suspend the consideration of the budget of the judiciary to invite the Minister of National Planning to show cause why the judiciary is not adequately funded, and we have gotten assurance that something better will be done.
The Senate leader, on his part, appealed to the federal government to ensure that the budget takes into consideration the appointments being made. He also appealed to the appointing authorities to ensure prompt recommendation and appointment of judges going forward to prevent prolonged vacancies on the bench.
So, my appeal on behalf of all of us to the appointing authorities is we need to avoid this kind of situation. These positions did not all become vacant in one day. As these vacancies occur, it's important that those who are next in line be screened and appointed immediately. I also want to say that what's happening here today also has its financial implications, and the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria must speak to it. So let it not be that after this exercise, the NJC will now be saddled with the responsibility of having to run from pillar to pole to ensure that my lords are able to settle down.
24 hours after the screening, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters submitted the report of his committee. He said the committee was satisfied with the nomination of the justices and therefore recommended their confirmation.
The committee examined their curriculum vitae and other supporting documents and thereafter screened them. There is no criminal record or adverse report found against the nominees, as record checks and other forms of investigation by relevant security agencies did not reveal any negative trace against them.
A debate followed the submission of the report, with senators supporting the call for the confirmation, while others dwelt on the need to improve the funding of the judiciary.
I therefore request that my colleagues to, without much ado, give our approval to this for the confirmation of this committee nominees, because everything that has been done here have shown that these people are properly put in place. They are well qualified.
The crop of the justices that have been presented here are, I will say, part of the best in Nigeria. For legal practitioners, if you read their judgments, you know what I'm talking about. But of particular note, Mr. President, let me thank the Senate. I know they will approve. For the first time, we have a Supreme Court justice from Plateau State, Justice Sankey.
Mine is particularly to call the attention of the legislature, the National Assembly particularly, and the executive arm of government, that our judiciary, like our legislature, needs more and more resources. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, those of us who have interacted with our judiciary at this federal level, we know how hard it is for them to do their work and decide their mandates. The time has come, Mr. President, for both the legislature and the executive arms to give the judiciary a worthwhile financial attention.
But I want to join Senator Ahmed Lawal in begging the Senate to look at the budget of the judiciary, not only in the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal, even the magistrates, the state courts, they're in a mess. When you go to see a judge of a state court, you will think that is coming with Okada. Is living in the midst of the people he's supposed to judge. And these things are not the way they were before. Most of you who were governors and all the rest of them, we did better in providing accommodations for these people where they will live, quarters and all the rest of them, cars to go to work. So I plead with my colleagues in the Senate, let us look at the budget of the federal judiciary, especially also in the Court of Appeal and industrial courts, all the courts. And also, it is not right to leave justice of Supreme Court for so long. I'm adding my voice to former Governor Bayelsa, that you will live like Southeast. We are left for almost 7 years without a judge in the Supreme Court, entire Southeast.
After the debate, the lawmakers approved and confirmed the nomination of the 11 justices.
Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Those confirmed at the chairman of the 2023 Presidential Election Petition Court, Justice Haruna Samani, and chairman of the Kano Governorship Election Appeal, Justice Moore Adumain. Others are Justice Jumai Sankey, Justice Chidebere Uwa, Justice Chioma Nwosu Iheme, Justice Obandi Ogbunya, Justice Stephen Jona Ada, Justice Habib Abiru, Justice Jamaila Tukur, Justice Abubakar Umar, and Justice Muhammad Idris. With their appointments, the Supreme Court will now have the full complement of 21 justices as envisaged by the Constitution.